What's going on, y'all? This is Frank Weeds, aka Frank Knight. Uh, Brought to you by my man Trey Hearn. Shout out to him and his show on Sunday night. Uh, Make sure we lock everybody in. Uh, Shout out to Frank Weeds. I want y'all to make sure y'all tune in every Tuesday night, 8:30. And like I said, make sure y'all tune in the Trey show every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Now, with that being said, want to catch up on a couple of things real quick. Shout out to my man uh, Tariq Nasheed and others. The only reason why I have to point out Tariq himself is because he was the spearhead behind the historical reparations march or rally, should I say? Definitely rally. I know they walked around that National Mall though, and definitely that reparations rally on November 5th, this past Saturday. Shout out to him and others who participated in that, who helped put that together. I know Sister Teslin was a main source behind getting that thing done, and others again. So I want to acknowledge that and just say, man, it was beautiful from what I seen as far as live feed footage, and it's good to see Black people get behind an agenda as a unit. Finally, foundational Black Americans to get behind one agenda as a unit and scream, yell to the high heavens that it's important that their values and their agenda be taken a look at before any political party's interest. So it's good to see Black people looking out for their own interests, foundational Black Americans, on a grassroots level, not on a national political scale, just straight grassroots people putting some stuff together saying, look, it's in our best interest to look at what's in the best interest of ourselves, especially economically. So when you do a rally like that, I know how much money it does take to put together in DC. I know how much work it does take to get permits and all that other stuff and get people lined up and, equipment and stuff. So for them to put it together in the time that they did, for the people to come out and participate in that rally on I would say short notice, I will, compared to some of the past events that I know Tariq has spearheaded, he's given people well than enough advance notice. This one, from what I was assuming and from what he said himself, it was kind of on short notice. But man, even with it being on short notice, it was a home run. It was a home run for Black people, and it definitely was a home run in regards to getting our agenda to the forefront of DC. And I hope a lot of those politicians were listening, because it comes down to understanding that we're not just going to be voting sentimentally anymore. Let's get this correct, man. We should have never been voting sentimentally in the first place. You always got to vote in your best interest and what's going to help you out economically, so your generations of people can be passed on resources and tangibles in order to survive, especially in these difficult times. So anybody out here voting sentimentally, oh, I'm voting because my people died for it. They didn't die for you to vote in a climate like this. So Let's get this stuff correct, man. And let's make sure that we understand what's important um, in regards to our value system as Black people, because you're going to be judged on your Blackness first, whether you like it or not. And that's just how society and the systematic system of white supremacy works. Again, the systematic system of it. So we want to break this down. I had to break that down. Again, shout out to all the people involved in that on that rally on November 5th. And we got more to come. With that being said, I definitely want to give a shout out to this upcoming public hearing that St. Paul's got going on when it comes down to this St. Paul Recovery Act. Now, this St. Paul Recovery Act is going to be covering reparations as an ordinance. They're going to be getting a legislative committee together, it looks like, in St. Paul, and covering the ordinance of reparations for Black people in St. Paul. So I know there's a public hearing coming up. Y'all stay tuned to that. Y'all make sure y'all check online for that. St. Paul Recovery Act public hearing. It's coming soon. Y'all look for that, man, because again, reparations on any level for Black people across this country is reparations for all, because what we can do is we can take what was done in regards to what was passed, why it was passed, and who it was passed for, specifically for that Black race. We can take that and use that as a blueprint and get this done across this country. We are done just accepting the status quo of nothing can be done, nobody can help us, all we got is hope. No, we have a vote. And that vote can be used in a way that can save your life. If you put the people with your best interest in charge of creating legislative processing. So just wanted to make sure I lay that down too, lay the tailpipe on a couple things. I had a couple of updates on some stuff I had to talk about. But let me go into what tonight's subject is tonight for Frank Knight, baby. And for Frank Knight tonight, man, we're going to talk a little bit about this thing with the brother Kyrie Irving. It looks like Kyrie Irving's there's a basketball player. He's an NBA, National Basketball Association. Let me say it again, National Basketball Association. That is the pro basketball league in the United States. And he's a pro basketball player. Would I consider Kyrie Irving a superstar at this point? Yes and no. Yes and no. Let me break that down real quick. To be a superstar basketball player, you gotta be a high level winner, and you gotta be a high level winner consistently, or at least have a history of that in your career. And Kyrie's kind of had an up and down career where he's had a high level of winning, and then he's had a high level of turmoil. So it's kind of been an up and down career for Kyrie, but I would definitely say in regards to his Blackness, he's always taken that first. He's one of those NBA players, no matter how much fame and success he's had, and he's had the top notch of it. I mean, he's won championships, and he's helped win those championships at the highest level. So Kyrie has been involved with the highest level of winning. So I can consider him a superstar on that level. But at the same time, it just hasn't been a consistent thing. So I will just have to say that his career has been an up and down thing. Now, with that being said, That doesn't take anything away from his accomplishments. Um, During the pandemic, Kyrie chose not to mess around with the ooh and I'm just gonna say ooh because that's what it is. I'm not trying to get knocked on anybody's page, or I just don't want to deal with anything. So, but Kyrie chose not to deal with the ooh He stood firm. I don't know if his job appreciated that. He was gone for a heavy amount of games. There were a lot. There was a lot of quote unquote commentary pressure from former NBA players and NBA analysts who never played the game. So he was under some scrutiny for that whole year. And I want to say a little bit before that, just because he was on a team with other superstar players, and it looks like they were under a lot of pressure to win. With that being said, fast forwarded to about a couple of weeks ago, brother Kyrie Irving shared a link, and let me be clear about the term share. He shared a link to a video on his Twitter platform, and the video was a video being sold on Amazon called Hebrews to Negroes. Now, I really don't want to go into what the film is about because it really doesn't have anything to do with the film and what I'm going to talk about. And what I'm going to talk about is the difference between sharing something online and promoting something online, because we've got a lot of confusion with this thing. And it got to the point where brother Kyrie got himself in so much trouble that he started losing sponsorships, $1 million sponsorships. As a matter of fact, there was a report put out there by the one and only Stephen A. Smith that Kyrie Irving has lost somewhere between 300 and 330 million dollars. Now, I don't know if it was just particularly off of that one shared tweet or just everything as a whole, and that being the icing on the cake. Nevertheless, when you put out a man's losses before he's even lost it, and you put out a number amount on that, that's very discouraging for me. Now, I could go in on some of the stuff I've heard the one and only Stephen A. Smith say. I can go in on some of the stuff I've heard former NBA players say on different networks. And I think they know who I am. I could go in on about why it's important that the grassroots has a foundational base of legends, professors, spokesmen who speak to our agenda, who speak to our language, who we look to as ambassadors of our society, rather than people who are paid to not only entertain us, but to create a time space of wastefulness. So back to my man Kyrie in that situation. The brother shared a tweet Um, sounds like he had an interview about this, and that interview basically went off the rails completely. And it had everything to do with how they were able to manipulate the word promote and the word share. And I really can't understand this because this reminds me of everything I've heard when it comes down to I'm white and I say so. Because on one hand, you're telling me when it's okay for white people, they can share things all the time on the internet. Excuse me, on the internet. But when it comes down to black people, it's up to white people to decide what you're sharing and what you're promoting. Now, if I look at the definition of promoting online, let's get it clear. And I want to do this real quick, but I know I'm running over a little bit, but I just wanted to make sure I got everything in. Let's be clear about this. And I'm on the internet right now. I'm gonna make sure people can see that I got a real life computer around here. I'm not playing. It says, and I quote, online promotion means the portion of any sale, attempted sale, or promotion of tickets or merchandise by online means which does not constitute online sales, ticketing, or sales. So in other words, online promotion means the portion of any sale. Okay. That's what the definition of online promotion is, because that's what he did. He was online when he quote unquote promoted that link. By the way, the video that he posted is a link that is being sold by Amazon. So, and you know, I hate when people say, well, it's being sold by, he promoted something that's being sold by Amazon. Exactly. He's promoting something that's being sold by Amazon. So, in other words, it's not his fault that Amazon is selling it. You didn't go talk to Amazon about what they were selling. So why are you talking to him when he's not being paid by Amazon to promote it? Because last time I checked, the definition of promoting something online is the portion of any sale. So he's supposed to be getting paid for promoting that link, which he didn't do. Let's talk about sharing. Because I want to get this right, man. And I want to understand this, man, because again, this can happen to any black person. And this is why this is so key for me to talk about this, because I don't want to see our black people get into a situation where Twitter and Facebook become havens of I'm white and I say so, rules, definitions, where black people become subjugated and not being able to use their First Amendment right to speak freely on their own behalves. I do not want that situation to happen to us. And it's very close. And we need to realize how important this Kyrie Irving situation is, because this is a perfect example of I'm white and I say so. In other words, my rules, I decide to change as far as a dominant society when I feel the need to change them based off of how I see a black person's behavior is. His brother shared a link to a video that was being sold on Amazon. People do that 1,000,000 times a day. Now, it's not his fault that the video was created in an anti-Semitic way, excuse me. It's not his fault that it was anti-Semitic. It's for other people's judgment to call it anti-Semitic. He wasn't looking at it that way. If he was, he would have made a statement over the link that he shared saying, I apologize if people think this is anti-Semitic. He just shared a link. He didn't even say anything about it. And I'm pretty sure the reason why he didn't say anything about it is because he didn't want to be tied to it. Hello, he wanted to share it and he didn't want to be tied to it. But people tie him to it. I'm white and I say so. When you start talking about him promoting it, I'm white and I say so. Promotion is when you are being paid to promote something. And online meaning, that means you can go to Google and type in online promotional meaning. That means when you're online, there's a certain meaning to the promotion that you're doing. And online, they tell you, you have to be paid in order to be promoting something. And when I heard these people keep using this term promote, you know what promote turns into? Attachment. Promote turns into value system. Promote turns into association. So now this brother, after weeks of denying that he had been promoting anything, he succumbed to public demand. And what I mean by public demand is you had all kinds of fake NBA players, retired NBA players, fake NBA analysts that don't know nothing about basketball because they never know anything about basketball. But when they finally do speak about basketball, they know nothing about it. But when it comes down to this social issue, they had no clue. So all they did was take their talking points from the people that dished them out checks, white mommy and white daddy, and they wanted to brow buck this young man. Because Kyrie's still a young man. I don't want to say he's still in his late 20s. But they brow bucked that young man into thinking that he was behind promoting a anti-Semitic video where the only thing he did was share it. I'm sure a lot of people out there know how completely innocent Kyrie is. They just don't want to admit it because they want to see him wallow in this anguish. They want to see his brand be completely deconstructed. They want to see this brother get millions of dollars taken away in sponsorships because of one thing. He's black. He's black and he has every right to have a freedom to speak to any issue that his value system values. Again, let me say that. His value system values. He's got every right to speak to any issue about that. And I said speak. He just shared a link. He didn't even speak. So when I see these brothers from the Boule system, and let me call us out, brothers from the Boule system, I'm coming for you. I'm gonna do a whole TV show just about the Boule system because that is legendary in its own right. And we need to know exactly the truth behind that. With that being said, I want to give a shout out to my man Trey. I want to give out to my man Trey. Good looking out, my brother. You know, when it comes down to speaking the truth, I'm always hungry to do that. It was a good subject to talk about my man, brother Kyrie, tonight, because I want people to take a look at how it's important that we value our First Amendment rights when it comes down to freedom of speech. And we hold truth to that because that's going to be a key factor when it comes down to our reparations claim is our First Amendment rights to speak our minds and our truth, because history will not change itself. Only you can change the history that hasn't been made before you. So, again, shout out to my man Trey. Catch his show. Tune in to his show every Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Make sure y'all tune in. And then make sure y'all check me out. Frank Dan Weeze on Tuesday nights, 8:30 at night. And, man, what can I say, man? All love to y'all, man. Y'all have a prosperous week and everything. And I'll holla. Peace.